What's up, guys? Welcome back to Michigan Muckraker. My name's Michelle. Today is Tuesday, March 21st, 2023, and 1 week ago, the Green Township Board had a meeting where well over 100 people showed up and voiced their concerns during the public comments. Now, unfortunately, not everybody got to share their concerns, and that was a violation of the Open Meeting Act of Michigan. And it was also a violation of the board's own rules. So I'm going to switch over, show you this really quick before we jump into the highlights of the concerned individuals during the meeting. The Green Township Board deems it necessary to adopt a procedure policy for the public comment section of a township board meeting. Now, this was April 10th, 2018, that this resolution was voted yes on, so they should have been following these rules. To provide for a reasonable time limit for public comments, now therefore be it resolved that the public comments will be held to a total of 20 minutes unless extended by a vote of said board, provided everyone has opportunity to speak. They violated their own rules, and I have a phone number for you. Right here, 517-335. I don't know why it does that. 7560. I don't know why this program I use does that, but I'll get that figured out. But yes, that's the phone number. I'll have it in the description down below. If you are a Green Township member, you have to be a resident of Green Township to call this number and report the violation. So I'm sorry if that happened to you. I will show at the end of this exactly what happened at the end, how people wanted to speak and were not able to speak, and even what one of the board members said. So real quick, one more PSA. We have the location of the meeting. That's on April 5th. Has changed to the ballroom of Eisler Center, B. Eisler Center in Ferris State University. So it's no longer going to be at the Green Township Hall, which was too small anyway. But Dr. Bill Pink offered Ferris State University ballroom. So he does have a vested interest in this. Real quick on the map, this is the Eisler Center in Big Rapids. You can see the Walgreens there. This is the main part if you know the town. There it is. So I hope to see you there. I have one other thing to say. Just when you do go, just be aware that there are people that want us to look bad. There's been 2 words already that I don't like that's been used, unruly, which I'm going to show you in the Green Township Board meeting minutes that they approved. Unruly was used. I don't like that, so that they're going to try to paint us a certain way if we're not careful. So I understand that people might be angry. There's a lot to be angry about in 2023, but we need to harness that anger and to use our minds and our words and data and make our point clearly and professionally, so that way we don't get misunderstood on purpose. So I just wanted to give that little warning. Hi, New Beginnings. Thank you for joining me. Where is it written that you have to be a resident? That's a great question. And I'm going to be honest, I was told that, so I will look into that to verify. Thank you for asking. I'm sorry I don't have an answer yet, but I will look. So that may or may not be true. It might not be that you have to be a Green Township resident. I was just informed that by a reliable source, but I do need to get that information out to you, so I will. Thank you. You always have great questions. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to jump in and showcase a couple more people. Again, though, I'm not able to get to everybody, so I'm sorry for anybody that I missed. Everybody had something great to say. The Midwesterner's channel will be, again, linked down below, so you can watch the entire thing. but I just wanted to highlight a few and give a little bit of commentary. I'm going to let them talk, though, this time. I'm learning every video, so I'll let them say everything they want to say and then give my commentary. And let me know if it's too loud or not loud enough.
I would like to submit and get it on record that we do not have to have our questions in advance. This seems deceiving, calculating, and condescending. I don't know you, so maybe that's not the way you meant it, but that's the way it comes across. We should be able to ask questions that we want, and questions should not be filtered through someone else. I also would like to get it on record to invite other companies, such as Mackinac Center on April 5th, that we can hear a completely different point of view than the pro-Goshen panel that you have planned for April 5th. Also, I read the Goshen FAQ from your website, and I'm not sure why you don't ever mention that it is a Chinese company. It seems like, and I don't know you, and maybe was a mistake, but it does seem disingenuous. I cannot find one single source, besides obviously the Goshen company, that says it's not a Chinese company. Not one source. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. There's source after source after source that says it is a Chinese company. And do we really want that Chinese company in our backyard? When I clicked on the chart of the shareholders, the link above the chart, I couldn't get on because I do not live in China. That's what it said. So I've been told that it's 1/3 Chinese and 1/3 something else and 1/3, but I could not find that anywhere besides on the Goshen website itself. And even if it were 1/3, do we really want a 1/3 Chinese company in our backyard? So I know we have tough decisions to make. We have to stop buying Chinese products. There's slave labor, or worse, child labor, as young as 6. And we have to make some tough decisions. And one of those, I'm hoping, is that we will not have this in our backyard. Thank you.
Okay, so several great points. First, the fact that the questions on April 5th will be screened and that it's a pro-Goshen panel. So everybody so far that we know of is for the Goshen plant. That does not seem very fair and balanced. Although no one said that it would be, right? The other thing is the Chinese company. I've had a couple videos out, but I've recently got information. I'm going to do a video, my final video, on whether or not Goshen is a Chinese company, because the piece of information I have solidifies it and is proof that it is a Chinese company. And the shares actually just changed very recently as well. So the shares were, less Chinese ownership, but now it's more, and the shares don't really mean anything. If you understand, the Communist Chinese Party owns every company that's in China. It's just to placate the people outside of China to say they're shareholders and stuff. They're just playing our game, but the main game is still CCP, is still the Chinese Communist Party, and they still own every major company, every company really that comes out. So it's important to know how the CCP works, but I will be putting that final piece of information about Goshen being a Chinese company out today after this video, so look out for that one, and then that's it. I know that it is a Chinese company. Now, if you don't care that it's a Chinese company, well, that's a different argument, and we can go down that road, but not in this video. So, excellent points. I appreciate that person very much for the points that they made. We need to just be aware that the questions, the panel that's on April 5th is not fair. So, but again, we need to go there, be professional, ask great questions. If we're allowed, I don't think we're allowed to ask questions there. That's something that bothers a lot of people too. But anyway, let's get into this next one, and I will showcase the township supervisor a little more in this video as well, because he says stuff in his board meeting minutes on the website that I don't like and I don't agree with.
My name is Isaiah Davis. I'm a husband, father, Montgomery County Corrections Officer, an elected precinct delegate for Norwich Township, a New Jersey transplant of 8 years, but most importantly, a local resident who values the God-given beauty of our forests, wetlands, wildlife, and all of our other natural resources. I come before you today to urge you to reconsider the Chinese and German-based battery plant. It's Chinese and BMW. I moved from New Jersey and fell in love with every bit of nature that Michigan has to offer. To quote the representative from the right place, hopefully environmental contamination can be kept to a minimum. The right place seeks only to bring profit in for foreign companies, not to preserve our environment. Bringing this plant here will destroy acres upon acres of land, damage watersheds, pollute the air, bring risk of our town to be the next new Palestine, Ohio, by bringing explosive, toxic, carcinogenic chemicals to our back door. One benefit commonly spoken by those in support of this monstrous plant is the approximate 2,300 jobs the plant will bring. A quick internet search will show approximately 3,000 available jobs at an average of $19 per hour in the surrounding area. Those are open jobs ready for hire. The blight on wildlife will benefit no one else other than the board of the right place, the Chinese-based company, aka a company partially owned by the CCP, and the political talking heads that will brag about jobs but not fix our damn roads. In closing, for our future, for our children's future and health, do not allow this toxic plant into our community. You folks are all elected members that represent this town. Okay, I am fairly sure that this kind of shows what your constituents are looking for. Please take that into consideration.
Excellent points. I'm going to jump right to the East Palestine thing, because what's going on there, you don't hear a lot of it on the news. If you go on YouTube and you go to Status Coup News, I'll have it linked down below, you could see that our government has basically abandoned East Palestine, or East Palestine, sorry. It's really quite sad, especially when they just bailed out that big bank for trillions of dollars, and yet East Palestine residents are getting no help. Terrible. So that could happen to us if we allow this plant to come, and that is a huge concern and a valid concern. I also want to say that the right place, if the Senate committee approves tomorrow the $175 million towards Goshen, $50 million of that goes to the right place. So they have, they want that money. They want that money. So, and the right place, again, we also pay them, the townships both pay them to help with development. So I say it a lot, but it's a conflict of interest, and it should be concerning to people. The right place should be helping us, and yet they have a vested interest in helping Goshen. They have $50 million worth of interest in helping Goshen. But all the points that he said, very true, very worried about the chemicals.
My name is Doug Turner. I'm from Grant, Michigan. I'd like to point this at the board. Not because I'm upset with you all, but I just hope you realize what you guys decide about this plant could have an impact on every township, every neighborhood, every county from here to Lake Michigan and all the way to Wisconsin. Are you prepared for what could happen if they come in here and everything goes well And are you prepared if some disaster happens and you destroy the lives of so many people in this state and possibly others?
Well, that was an excellent point, but the very next day, Chapman, the supervisor, went to Lansing and begged for that money for Goshen. So that's what the board, well, at least that's what the supervisor thinks about our concerns. I made a video about that yesterday. Check it out. It's unfortunate, but again, unsurprising. This gentleman is absolutely right. Everybody down the Muskegon River, which is why I have gotten involved, because I was raised on this river, on the Muskegon River. I love the river. I love Michigan. And I'll keep saying that you don't have to be a part of these townships to be concerned and to use your voice to share that concern. In fact, everybody all the way down the Muskegon to Lake Michigan should be concerned and should know about it, and I don't think they did. But the Green Township didn't even really know about it, and the township supervisor said 90 to 95% of people in the township are for the plant. And yet they didn't even, 90 to 95% didn't even know about it, obviously, because you have well over 100 people here that do not want the battery plant, okay? So I hope that we can inform more people all the way down the river. That's the goal. But tomorrow is a key vote for funding. If that goes through, it ain't over till it's over, but if we could stop the funding tomorrow, that would be the best. But yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen, since it's a Democratic-led committee, and or you know, they have the majority here in Michigan now, and Whitmer, and I don't want to make this political, but they're the ones that are bringing in the EV batteries. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. But please email the Senate committee and let them know what you think about funding these battery plants.
Name, please.
My name is Debbie Todd. I live in Jersey. My first question would be, I'm really curious why you guys would contemplate putting the library issue on the ballot, but you didn't consider putting on the ballot about Goshen, which has long-term farming effect. Yeah. Everyone in this community, your constituents who voted you into those chairs up there should have had a chance to vote for the Goshen issue. My next issue would be, I talked to Bill Stanek about the alleged high-paying jobs that Goshen would bring in, and I asked him what would that amount to in dollars, and he said roughly $61,000 per year. I said, does that include bennies? And he said, yes. And I said, so tell me, what would that come out to for an hourly rate? He said, that is the average of administration and the workers. So the boots on the ground are probably not going to have high-paying jobs as is being alleged. The next thing is, are the Chinese workers going to come in on a green card where they get to work and not pay a copper penny of income taxes through 6 years, and then they go back? How is that fair to the rest of us that pay our taxes? And the last thing is, when they talk about green energy, they want green energy to run that plant. Well, solar panels and turbines take fossil fuels. That is not green energy. And there's not enough wind around here for turbines, or the wind companies would have been in and approached you guys already. And for solar, it takes up acres and acres and acres with those panels. And I don't think that's what any one of us wants in our community. No.
Excellent points. I guess I'll just go backwards. The fossil fuels, she's absolutely correct. I'm not going to go over it today, but real quick, I'll show you just wind farms use fossil fuels for construction and operation. I will be going over this in a later video, just on turbines themselves, because they're terrible for the environment. And each wind turbine embodies a whole lot of petrochemicals and fossil fuel energy. It takes a lot, large trucks bring the steel. So lots of details to it. Absolutely correct on fossil fuels being used for this green energy. It's all just such a scam. The wind turbine companies and the solar panel companies are making bank because our government has chosen them to be the winners. And it's just not how it should be. It should be supply and demand naturally, not manipulated.
And the last
Again, you can see how each individual has a different angle that they look at this. And they each have awesome they're not awesome concerns. They each have concerns that I am appreciative that they bring up because I didn't think about that angle, is what I'm trying to say. So she's right with they're gonna have a green card and not pay taxes, and how is that fair? And going to the original point that she made, I've looked into it, and I think it was Chuck Thelen himself said it was about $41,000 for the average job, $41,000 a year, and that's competitive with the market, which is why they picked this area, is they wanted cheap labor. China wants kind of cheap labor, and they want footholds here in America. So excellent points that she made. Obviously, she's well researched because for some reason people don't understand that wind turbines take a whole hell of a lot of fossil fuels. And they're terrible for their wildlife, bats and birds. It's not that they run into it, it's that even going around it, the pressure, it damages their lungs and they have a very painful death, and it's terrible. Why? I understand that fossil fuels have their own issues, but that doesn't mean we should switch over to something that has issues, just different issues, especially when it means that energy prices are going to be sky high, as we're already seeing, and it won't meet the requirements, so people might not have enough energy. Rolling blackouts for California. I mean, there's just too many problems that we are taking upon ourselves for no reason, because it's not like wind and solar are better for the planet. It's not better for the people, especially the ones that are now slaves because they have to mine the cobalt in the Republic of Congo. Argentina and Brazil, their indigenous populations are being destroyed by lithium mining because it's taking all the water. You need water to survive. And now they're talking about doing it to Nevada and destroying a mass grave from a Native American tribe. So there's a lot of problems with the wind turbines. I think we should reconsider. And where is this 100% renewable energy, like she asked? That's a great question. The panel hopefully will have some kind of answer for that one.
My name's John Holsworth. I'm a Green Township resident and also a delegate. I'm kind of concerned. I was first for prudent progress. I don't think it's so prudent anymore. I look at the environmental issues. We had 131 was overrun with water, and it was a one-time thing. But at the same time, you start adding all this stuff. It's kind of crazy. When I look at national security, I see that Ferris has not only their battery program, but they just signed a deal with the NSA to access the satellites. And we know what the voracious appetite for our intellectual property is. This seems to just invite God, who knows what, you know? So it just really, there's shops around right now here that need work. They can't even fill it with that right now. We save 45 minutes. If they raise the price of gas, how are these people going to get to work from this area? And then if we don't have that in the Chinese manufacturing, they use AI robots. Okay, so what happens then, they bring AI to take for the jobs that we were supposed to have to pay us back over the 30 years. We also will have a big change in our community. I grew up in the Pontiac area. Great place to be from, but right now it's heavy on the front. And anyways, you're gonna see a big rise in crime. It's just with the population, it's just naturally gonna happen and everything like that. There's major changes that will come to this community, and it's something that has to be thoughtfully and prudently done. Thank you.
Excellent points. Just like I forgot to mention, the gentleman earlier said there's plenty of jobs available that can't get filled right now. So the problem actually is that, well, we have a lot of problems. Let's be honest. People don't want to work. A lot of entitlement in younger generations. It's just, there's a lot of problems that I can't get into, but the bottom line is we can't fill the jobs already, especially restaurants. You go out to a restaurant and those poor waiters and waitresses, they're short-staffed, and so they're running their ass off. So your service is not as good, and it's not their fault because they're short-staffed and nobody wants to work. But can you blame them because you don't get paid anything as a waiter or waitress, and people don't have a lot of money to tip? And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting into a bunch of stuff. Bottom line is jobs can't be filled already. So that's a great point that he made. The water flooding, didn't know about that happened, and it doesn't happen very often, as he said, but these are contingencies, these are things that could happen that normally don't, that could destroy the river. I mean, obviously, if that plant flooded and brought those chemicals into the river, well, whose fault is that besides Mother Nature? But we and ourselves are putting it there so close to our water. So, excellent points. And then the NSA. I heard about the NSA partnering up with Ferris State University. Recent development since Dr. Bill Paint came in. I find it interesting. I also just wanted to comment that when it first came out, Edward Snowden said the NSA is spying on everybody. I was in college, and I was one of the only people that considered him a hero, and I could not understand why people would not want to know that they're being spied on by their government. And I still don't understand why people think that it's okay, and now Ferris State's partnering up with them, and crazy world we live in. Thank you very much to this gentleman for bringing up those valid points. Now I think there's another comment. Let's see.
Please.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Lisa. So this is the people of the community, and I'm asking you, the board, do we, the people, get an opportunity to vote on this, given the response and the concerns of everyone here? And if not, what do we gotta do to get a vote? Is there something we can do to get a vote?
This committee right here could make.
So I think that's what the majority of people want, is just to have a vote. Now, you would hope that we could get a vote and have it be, everyone believe it. And unfortunately, we live in such a time where there will be people that no matter how it comes out, they won't believe it anyway. So I am for a vote. But we do have to be aware of the issues that are happening, and there's a lot of corruption going on. And so if we do get a vote, will it be trustworthy? And all I could say is I hope so. But I don't even think at this point they don't want us to have a vote. So I'm not going to say that we're not going to get one, because you never know what's going to happen. But a vote would be great. Let's just say that. That would be a positive step where people at least have an opportunity to speak, I guess, I don't know how exactly to say it, but a vote, that's what we want. Now, this gentleman that's trying to speak, that Chapman, is saying don't, but then gives the mic up. Watch this.
Sir, get your turn. Go get your turn in a second. Thank you. Okay. The gentleman wants to drink, so we'll go ahead and let him have the opportunity.
I request, and I think it's not alone here, that you pass a motion tonight to table this entire decision until we have a vote in the community. And if we need to petition it, I don't think that's necessary in the event that we have. So I vote, and you have to tonight table this decision based on, find out the rules and regulations of what's coming, and we can vote on it.
Well, they never tabled it. Yeah, they never tabled it. They almost act like they can't. But again, we know why they didn't table it, because the very next day, this gentleman right here, Chapman, went to Lansing to beg for Goshen money. To beg for money for Goshen. So, he doesn't want us to vote. He wants to just get that money.
Deborah Deiger, I've been to several of these meetings, and some of the first meetings, Goshen's representatives said they were only interested if they purchased the land. They would no way consider a lease. Why do they have to own the land? Mid-Michigan is very, for many years, they've been doing the research. We have so many natural resources. Us and gas fields, water, potash, so many things that the Chinese want. And we're not in a Cold War, we're in a warm war with them right now. They want the tentacles in here. We're by army barracks, we're by airports. Detroit has open factories, roads, waterways, expressways, railways. Goshen said our roads weren't going to support it. It's going to cost taxpayers money to improve the roads for Goshen. There is no rail here. They want to use our waterways. They're not sufficient, so things are going to change, and we're going to end up looking like Detroit, I'm afraid. I'm all for business, but not communist business.
Yep, I don't know if I have much to say. She said it very clearly. All excellent points. We have a lot of beautiful natural resources. Why don't we keep them for Michiganders, shall we? I think that we might be getting into, let me see, Chapman's commentary, so that way we can go over the minutes and kind of compare and contrast. So this is 49 minutes in. We did 20 minutes of public comment, and then the board has been doing their normal board meeting stuff. And so now we're about to get back to comments.
Next item in here is just to let the board know that I am calling a special meeting on Wednesday the 5th of April at 6:30. At this point, we will be doing it here. I know it's a bit crowded, so we're going to have to do the best we can.
Okay, so at that time it was there, but now it's at the ballroom. But this makes me question, so this is a special meeting. This is a board meeting. This panel that's happening. So what are the rules for a special meeting? That's something that I need to look into.
We really don't have a large option within our township, and this is our township meeting, so it should be done in our township. The purpose of that meeting is to bring in some I hate the word experts, but those
He hates the word expert.
with a strong background in various fields, whether it be the wastewater treatment plant that would be accepting the effluent from the Goshen plant, fire rescue, which of course is also responsible for hazmat. Well, I hope to have somebody from there. We have talked to the right place. I have talked to Goshen. I talked to Mr. Nessel from the Road Commission. He said while he personally would love to do it, he does need permission from his board.
Sorry, they just said road commission. I have one other thing. Chuck Thelen said something about a railway using a train to bring materials. Now, I know that there's no train system to Big Rapids, but there is a train by the Muskegon area that goes to White Cloud. I should just bring the train. I don't know if I can bring it up right now, but we need to figure out what train he was talking about, obviously. Norfolk Southern is in Michigan, but only by Detroit area. So perhaps they're talking about coming in around here and then from there using trucks. I'm not certain. That's a question that I'm going to be submitting because obviously I'm worried about trains. Our train system is failing, and this is just my theory, but I think that it's on purpose because they want to bring in high speed rail system to regions. That's the goal for these development companies. So I'm going to get more into that on this channel because I think that it's really important to understand if you want new systems, the old systems can't be in place. And so letting them just deteriorate is a good way to make an excuse. Hey, our train systems suck, so here's a solution. Let's do these high rail systems and we'll do them in between these major regions. But anyway, train system.
And we have to respect that. So hopefully we have somebody from the road commission, and I've got some angles. I'm still trying to see if we can get somebody from Eagle. My hope is to provide.
I'm cutting him all off because I can. Eagle. I watched this gentleman, MIGardner. I'll link his channel below as well. He was trying to build a greenhouse, and Eagle basically took him to court for 3 years, dragged him through the mud, and just a small business owner, entrepreneur, wanting to grow food here in Michigan, and Eagle destroyed him. And they're going to turn around and let Goshen be on our waterways, near our waterways, in our wetland areas. Like, if Eagle allows us to go through and drags a little entrepreneur that's not even on the wetlands, again, I'm going to link it. It's crazy. So they're not going to let an entrepreneur grow food in a greenhouse on a tiny little plot next to Meyer and everything else, but you're going to allow a Chinese battery company to be in the middle of the wetlands on 500 beautiful acres up north. It's called up north here in Michigan.
Some facts to the public, not just politicians espousing their personal opinion. Okay, folks need facts.
Folks need facts, yeah. Well, so far you haven't been given them. And now we're supposed to trust this pro-Goshen panel to give us all the facts?
I'm hoping to be able to do that. I did, as you see, set up a format which uses pre-submitted questions and a moderator. I understand that some people have concerns about that, mostly based off of whether or not we can be trusted to do it. But I have a bit of a history of being somewhat trustworthy, and I do know that from our prior meeting.
He has a history of being somewhat trustworthy. That's reassuring. And again, I'll keep saying it. The next day he was in Lansing.
And meetings that our neighbors to the south held, that many folks with opinions that were in the minority were intimidated to speak out, and I'm trying to provide them with an alternative format that they can get their questions in also. We have folks that don't like to speak in public, a lot of them don't, and this is a format for them. And those that just simply can't be here that night. It is spring break for the school, so.
Which is awesome that you're calling the meeting during spring break. And somebody else also has said, this is all going on when a lot of people are in Florida. A lot of the landowners are in Florida. That's another thing. Timing is a little bit weird.
You know, there's some folks that are gone with their kids on vacation while they got their opportunity. We're trying to do that. It may not be a perfect solution. I'm open to the board's suggestions as we go along. Until we get that, any modification recommended by any of the board members, is something I'm perfectly willing to consider, but that's where we sit at this point. So we will be holding a special meeting, here on the 5th at 6:30, with that panel, available and questions from the public. Okay?
Sir,
This is not the time to comment, thank you.
is it not possible to do both?
I'm sorry, we're not, this,
Not gonna comment, but that is a great question. Why can the people that aren't able to be there or too afraid to use their voice in public, which nobody is going to harm you. There was an individual here that talked and disagreed with the majority of people, and nobody jumped him or did anything crazy. I mean, we're all just peaceful people voicing our concerns. You're allowed to be for the Goshen plant, and we're allowed to be against it. And we're also allowed to not clap. But that is not any kind of aggression or anything. It's just we don't agree with you, and that's okay. Anyway, why can't people ask questions that don't mind public speaking, that don't mind asking the question in front of everybody, that can be there? Why can they not ask questions on the fly? And of course he doesn't want to answer. He makes the excuse, too many people there, and if he starts answering questions, then, you know, there could be a flood or whatever.
this is not the time, there's just too large of a crowd to be able to do question and answer. I apologize, man. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Next thing on here is a resolution for the year-end amendments and bills. I believe somebody has that motion. Yeah, we've got copies of it. If somebody, yeah. Okay, well, your clerk, your motion. You get to read it, how's that?
Okay, to authorize pay the year end of March 31st, 2023 bills and budget amendments implementing balancing reconciliation for the general and the sewer funds. I so move.
Second. Motion, support, discussion.
Mr. Chairman, we've done this one every year, so.
Yeah.
It's not new.
Yep, nope, it's not new, but it is necessary for it to be legal. Okay. Any discussion? Roll call, ma'am?
Jernstedt.
Yes.
Peak.
Yes.
Clark, yes. Chapman.
Yes.
McFarland.
Yes.
Real quick, yes, they want questions up front so they can put their sunny spin on answers. I've seen it before, so in the beginning, thank you. Yes, you're right. They want to have pre-screened questions so that they can formulate their answer before they show up. So they look better and so they can give you the best answer that's for Goshen. So yes, that is why the screened questions, there's many reasons why it's not fair and it's kind of sus. So we should be able to calmly ask questions at the meeting, in person, on the fly, on April 5th, 6:30 p.m. But right now, it's not looking like that's happening. But again, we need to figure out, because this is a board meeting, it's a special meeting called by the board. So the rules of a special meeting called by the board should apply, right?
Todd. Carol.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other new business, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. Well,
Okay, so real quick, you see that. No other new business. He's about to open up public comments again. He didn't say anything about, I'm gonna bring it over right here. It says, each individual speaker must identify the board would then continue. Okay, I'm sorry, let me go back. I'll just read the entire thing right now. The supervisor had informed the attendees that this was regular scheduled board business meeting, not a Goshen Battery Factory informational meeting. He had informed the attendees a drop box for questions available with card. Individuals could ask questions. The questions would be addressed at the informational discussion meeting concerning the proposed Goshen Elephant Plant Battery, April 5th, 2023. Information regarding the special meeting would on the township website greentownship.org. Informing the attendees their scheduled to public comment section of this meeting with a limit of 20 minutes total for each public comment section. Each individual speaker must identify themselves and will be time for 3 minutes. The board would then continue on with the business. This is the second public comment, second opportunity. 8:25, it was consensus of the board to close the second comment session of the meeting. 8:30, the attendees became unruly, and the supervisor asked them to proceed outside to allow the township board to continue the board meeting. That doesn't make any sense. That's not what happened from what I saw when I was there and from what I can see right now on the video. There was no, the board would continue on with business. No one said that. It was not clear. And this is what I'm talking about with unruly. You're about to see, I'm about to show you, no one was unruly. They, though, closed off public comments, and even though they themselves have a policy where everyone should be able to speak that wants to speak. And so some people did try to speak, but it was quickly, silenced. They were quickly silenced. So there was no unruly. It was... Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back.
I'm gonna stand up and we started from the front this time, last time, so we'll start in the back next time. Exactly was what we did earlier. I believe hopefully we can get it done in 20 minutes. We'll see where we're at the end of those 20 minutes. But we will want to recognize, allow each person their opportunity for 3 minutes. But I will have this set for 2:45. Everybody went pretty much short of that, which is fine. But at 2:45 we'll be switching to, we'll ask you to summarize. So, starting from the back. Yes, ma'am, you've had your...
So, yeah, you could see these, for one, these minutes are so short. I mean, look at this. Whoever is supposed to be doing these notes, you need to do a better job. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but the transparency here is lacking because your comments suck. Look at Big Rapids Township. Look at their meeting minutes. That's how it should be done. There's a lot more there. So 20 minutes went by of people asking questions, and then he comes out. You can hear people say the Open Meetings Act. So plenty of people said it. There's no reason why they shouldn't have heard that. You are going to violate the Open Meeting Act if you do not allow these people to speak.
I'd like to talk about the real elephant in the room.
And so you see that an individual started speaking that wanted to speak and should have had every right to speak. And that is what's unruly. And I do not like that they use that word. They're trying to paint us a certain way.
That's the fact that the supervisor...
Ma'am, you were not called on. Thank you very much.
June 2020.
It's so rude of Chapman to stop the people from speaking. I mean, it's beyond rude. Obviously, it's a violation.
Ma'am, you were not called on. Thank you very much, Deputy.
It looks like the community has spoken, not in my backyard is what it looks like. I'll make sure that you guys...
You could see that more people's hands are up, more people want to speak, not just this person.
Ma'am, you are disorderly and you will leave. Goodbye.
See, so I'm going to play this. What's the choice of the board? He just said. It's kind of hard to hear. This person right here is going to say something that we need to be aware of. This is Todd.
Please! You're doing that. How about a little bit of professionalism, a little bit of adult? Okay? What is the choice of the board? The board policy says 20 minutes unless allowed to continue by the board.
Everyone needs the opportunity to speak. That's also on there.
The choice of the board is what?
He just said, I've heard enough. I've heard it. You can watch, you can read the lips. There's also an individual that told me that they heard that from that person, that I've heard enough.
Okay, choice of board is that the 20 minutes does stand.
Yep, and that's what Chapman wanted to hear. He already had what he wanted in his mind, but as soon as Todd backed him up, oh, he's like, we're done. I don't want to hear anymore. Because I already have my mind made. I'm already going to Lansing tomorrow, and I'm going to beg for that money. I'm going to go with Dr. Bill Pink from Ferris State University, who's also a VP on the right place, and he wants that $50 million, and I'm probably going to get some kickback. That's alleged. That's not verifiable. That's just my suspicions, just to clarify.
Comment. Point of order. Thank you very much. All right. And what I is welcome to stay for those financials as we go through them. If you wish to leave, you are welcome to do so. We ask you to do so quietly.
So yeah, they're going to go through the financials now because they want to do it on the sly. But, you know, the meeting minute shows right here. Now, I don't know this, I'm hoping this is for the whole year, but supervisor wages right here, $20,000. $20,233. But again, I think that's for the whole year. I'm a dummy. I'm just starting with all this, so, and I think their meeting minutes, again, they suck compared to Big Rapids. So it's all there though. Well, it's halfway there for you to check out. But what do you think? People now, they're just leaving. The violation happened and they're leaving. Do you think that they could put unruly in the minutes? You know, they did that. At 8:30, the attendees became unruly and the supervisor asked them to proceed outside to allow the township board to continue the board meeting. We have to be careful. Again, they want to paint us in a bad light. So we have to just lead by example and don't let our anger get to us. If you have any anger, you know, again, the last 3 years has been crazy and it's not maybe just this that's made you angry, but we have to harness that anger in a positive way and do that by asking great questions and just continually pointing out the sus things that are happening around this deal. Yes, thank you. We have a clarification. Dr. Bill Pink is the vice chair of the board for the Right Place, not the vice president. There is a difference there. He will be the chair in 2024. And right now, he's actually a part of the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. I'm not going to give his title because I'll probably mess that up too, and I don't have it pulled up. But he's actually supposed to be done with the MEDC on April 5th of this year, 2023. And he first was on the MEDC in 2019. So I thought that was interesting that it's April 5th is his very last day as of right now. Now, Whitmer might reappoint him. I don't know how any of that's going to work. But yes, they are all the key players are part of these development corporations. That's where the power is because that's where the money seems to be. And nobody voted for those people. And yet they have a lot of power over us. So something to be concerned about. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you think the concerns that are shared are valid? Do you think that the town supervisor was fair or unfair? What do you think about him going to Lansing the very next day after hearing this, hearing the people in his community? I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. The next video, I will be showing proof, the very final proof that I'll be showing of Goshen being a Chinese company and who exactly is going to be in charge of this company. Thank you again, and we'll see you in the next video.